Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back into the video today. And today we're going to be talking about a potential trade target for the Phoenix Suns, as today was announced by Yahoo Sports and Bleacher Report that the Phoenix Suns are going to be targeting two young guards to potentially replace Chris Paul. I don't know as a starter, but basically I mean, these are the two targets that were announced are Immanuel Quickley of the New York Knicks, who we are talking about in this video, and Peyton Pritchard of the Boston Celtics. I'm not sure on Immanuel Quickley, but I can guarantee that Peyton Pritchard, if he's going to Phoenix, he's not going to be the starting point guard of a Phoenix team where they got Devin Booker and KD in the lineup. It's just not happening. And honestly, I don't even see Quickley being a starter on that Suns team. Maybe if he gets lucky, he's the starting shooting guard and Booker moves over to the 3. But I think most likely if Quickley's going to the Suns, it's going to be backup point guard minutes and 6th man, but playing like a crap ton of minutes off the bench. I see the Suns wanting to pick up a huge point guard off of, in free agency. I see the Suns maybe, being interested in guys in free agency like James Harden or Fred VanVleet. So I could maybe see Quickley being, either. I think if Quickley is a trade target for the Phoenix Suns, that it was like it was announced, that I think Quickley is either, if he goes to Phoenix in a potential trade, then I honestly think that potentially, most likely, what would probably happen is either Quickley's going to be the starting shooting guard, or he's going to be the 6th man that plays a crap ton of minutes and plays a lot of backup point guard minutes. That's what Immanuel Quickley's role would be on the Phoenix Suns. But Phoenix is interested in him. He had a really good season with the New York Knicks. He was 3rd place in 6th Man of the Year votes, had 15 points per game with 3.5 assists per game and 4.2 rebounds per game. Shot 37% for 3. I think he, if not one, 2 40-point games. I think the Knicks were without Brunson, and there was a couple games where the Knicks were without Brunson, and he just stepped up massively. And my only question is, what are the Suns going to give up for Immanuel Quickley? It has kind of seemed that the Knicks don't really have any interest in Chris Paul in a trade. It was announced that they would have interest in Chris Paul in free agency, but the way it was quoted, it sounded like the Knicks would really not be interested in Chris Paul in a trade. They would really. It's the way it sounded to me is that the Knicks are interested in Chris Paul, but are only interested in Chris Paul is the only way they're interested in Chris Paul is if he gets waived by the Phoenix Suns. So the way that sounded to me is that New York does not want Chris Paul in a trade. They only want him in free agency. So that's one of your biggest trade pieces is Chris Paul. That's not an option. Does New York maybe want DeAndre Ayton? That is one thing I'm thinking. Maybe Quickley, and I'm thinking maybe Immanuel Quickley and Mitchell Robinson to the Phoenix Suns, and maybe let's say a future first-round pick, Immanuel Quickley and Mitchell Robinson to the Suns for DeAndre Ayton. That's just something I'm throwing out there. That would be one trade you'd be able to land Immanuel Quickley. I'm guessing, but I really don't think. In my opinion, I really don't think New York's gonna have a lot of interest in DeAndre Ayton. So it would be if Phoenix wants Immanuel Quickley, it'd be interesting to see how they land them. They'd probably, my bet would be probably have to send a bunch of first round pick, a bunch of draft picks with Chris Paul, in order for New York to be like, okay, well, we'll take Chris Paul's contract if we're getting these draft picks, and we can use him as a decent player on our roster. So, who knows? Who knows what will happen? I mean, it's definitely a decent trade target for the Phoenix Suns. Definitely, I would go for it if I'm the Phoenix Suns, but I just don't know how you land him. Obviously, you could maybe go with that first trade target, Mitchell Robinson and Immanuel Quickley in a future first to the Suns for DeAndre Ayton, or you can go with a bunch of draft picks with Chris Paul for Immanuel Quickley and something else. But I'm really not sure how Immanuel Quickley would be headed to Phoenix in a deal. But if I'm Phoenix, I'm doing whatever I can to get Immanuel quickly. He's a hell of a talent, but I would say not to be your starting point guard. Either your starting shooting guard or your backup point guard / sixth man. Because I think you want to get a all-star, if not all-star type, type caliber player to fill the shoes of Chris Paul. He didn't have he wasn't that effective for this team. Averaged 15 points per game, averaged 9 assists per game, and then also averaged 4 rebounds per game, and was just kind of the glue of that team with how good of a passer he is and how good of a leader on the court he is. You want to get a solid point guard back. I think Fred VanVleet would be a really good fit for Phoenix. But you guys have your thoughts as for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and peace out.